Do you ever feel paralyzed by the amount of problems you have in your life? And they don't have to be huge storybook problems. They could be just a lot of little things, everyday problems we all feel. But they pile up and they pile up, and your life becomes very hard to manage. It becomes a struggle to make decisions, and it can be very hard to move things along, to solve those problems, and to ease your burden. The truth is, you don't always have to solve the problem in order to find peace with it. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the hierarchy of problem solving so you can know the best step for you and how to manage your problems, how to move your life forward, and how to bring a little bit of clarity and a little bit less mess to your life. My name is Tyler, and I run a Catholic mental health practice called Archangel Catholic, and I want to make sure that you have all the tips, tools, frameworks, and perspectives you need to live a joyful, full life, that you can pursue sainthood and have the freedom despite your mental illness, despite your mental health struggles, that you know how to find healing in those things so you can push forward to become what God intended you to be. So the bottom layer of the hierarchy, step one, is to do nothing. This is the only part of this hierarchy that's just not good. This isn't a good place to be. A lot of people make this decision, or because of analysis paralysis and not knowing what to do, we end up at this place, but that's not where you want to be. And what this is do nothing, don't use any skills, don't see any growth. This is an option though. It's not a good option, but it's an option. So step one of the hierarchy is simply you do nothing. You don't utilize any skills, you don't see growth. And that's the critical thing. If you are trying something, you're putting skills into play, you're trying to see growth, that is always better than just saying it is what it is and doing nothing about it. And you're going to learn that accepting that the problem can be there and not trying to move the problem along is different. There's good ways to do this. This is you simply giving up and trying nothing and letting it just be without any inner movement or exterior movement in your life. So step one, the foundational level of the hierarchy, is just do nothing. Step two in the hierarchy of problem solving, the next layer up from this foundational step of doing nothing, is to tolerate the problem. Now, that doesn't mean you do nothing. It doesn't mean you let it be whatever it wants to be to your psyche, but it means you accept that this problem isn't going away, or that you can't change it, or that you don't want to change it, or there's a reason you're not supposed to change it. A problem that can be allowed to exist and you tolerate it, but it doesn't mean you let it have its way on your psychological health. So there are some things you can do at this stage. You can do breathing exercises, some sort of paced metered breathing. Box breathing is very common. That's where you breathe in for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds, breathe out for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds. That kind of thing can help manage anxiety in the moment, stress in the moment when you have these things rearing their head in your life, but you don't want to change or you can't change it. A surrender novena can be very powerful. Sometimes God is calling you just to surrender this thing instead of trying to always fix the problem. There's a lot of ways you can do this. Grounding techniques as well. Try to focus on the feeling of how does your head feel, and then your shoulders, what does your stomach feel, your chest, down to your toes. Do some sort of grounding work where you try to put yourself in the moment very clearly where you are. Something to take yourself out of the problem. But it's about tolerating, and that's okay. You don't have to solve every problem. So step two of this hierarchy is tolerating the problem. And that is always better than the first step, which is do nothing. The same result, the problem's still there, but one of the steps, step one, has its way on your psyche, and it lets you think what it wants you to think and feel what it wants you to feel. This is taking a little bit of control from that problem, even though you let it exist. It doesn't control you, and you manage it, and you tolerate it. So that's step two, tolerating the problem. Step three in the hierarchy of problem solving is to feel better about the problem. And that's an important point. In step two, when you tolerated it and you managed its effect on you, it doesn't mean you felt good about it. A problem can be a problem. That doesn't have to always be spun out to be some silver lining. It can just be a problem. But step three is where you realize maybe it's not. Maybe there's something God is teaching me here. Maybe there's a bright side to this. Maybe there's actually a benefit that I'm not realizing. Right? It could be, I'm at the gym, it doesn't feel good, I don't like going and exercising, right? But it's reframing things to say, actually, this is a good problem. This pain I feel now is going to make me feel better later to a greater degree. So at this stage, you're going to reframe things. You're going to figure out how it's actually a helpful thing. You're going to pray for insight to that. and you're going to feel better about it. Journaling is another great technique for helping specify your thoughts and bring you to a place of happiness. But it doesn't mean it gets easy. This is about reframing things so you see it for something different than what it is. It's different than what you think it is, right? So step 1, you do nothing. Step 2 is where you tolerate the problem and you manage its effect on you, but it is a problem, not just what it is. Step 3 is where you reframe the problem so that you feel better about the problem, and that can help you relieve the pain of what's going on and find benefit from it. Step 4 in the hierarchy of problem solving is the one that everybody actually wants to get to, and that is solving the problem. How do you do that? Right? There's some great ways to begin it. The concept of naming and then taming the emotion. What am I feeling? I'm going to name it, and then that way I can control its effect on me. And then you move forward and say, I know the emotions that I'm feeling. Now, what are the boundaries I need to have in place for this problem to be solved? And then how do I take steps towards that? And you're going to get support. You could get mentorship, a friend, some way, but you're going to take steps to solving it. But this is after the first 3 steps. You never want step 1. That's doing nothing. That is just surrendering in a way that lets it have its way on you, and you don't want that. Step 2 of a problem then is where you tolerate it and you say, this is okay to exist. I'm just going to manage the way it affects me. Step 3 is where you say, I'm going to feel better about it. This is a problem that has to exist, but it's actually not the problem I think it is. There's a way to think about this that brings value to my life. So we're going to reframe things. Only step 4 is solving the problem. Now, what we've done is taken this huge sweep of problems in your life, big or small things, and we've said that 3/4 of them aren't really a problem, or maybe more. 80% of them aren't really a problem. They can be tolerated or reframed. From there, we can say that last 20%, the actual problems I can remove, I'm going to go after those. And that really reduces your overload. It gives you bandwidth and you can focus on those things. You can set the boundaries you need with people. You can have the conversations you need. You can take the steps you need and get the support or the guidance, the mentorship you need, the advice. That makes it powerful. You can actually move on a problem when it's the focused problem you're solving. Everything else is lightened because a whole bunch of them are tolerated in a way that they aren't affecting you. And another swath of these problems actually aren't problems. You've reframed them, which has made them welcome in your life. Then you're solving these. It removes analysis paralysis. It removes the overload and the burden. It focuses you on the problems that actually need to be solved. So step 4 is actually solving the problems. And it's so much easier when you get to this step to put in tools and ideas of how to take care of these things because you've focused it down to the problems that truly need solved. And it makes it a much lighter burden and much more efficient to move forward on them. Now, something that I want to make really clear is as Catholics and Christians, we are called to discern the problems in our life. God does not want us to live a life filled with problems all the time and we're always unhappy. God wants us to be happy. However, his cross is definitively not a happy thing in the moment. That was a struggle. It was a cross. That's obvious. And so we're called to unite ourselves with him. And that's the critical thing about this hierarchy, is that some things are your crosses to bear. Some things are your struggles. And that's okay. You can unite them with Jesus and place them in proper context. And then there are some things God does not want you to bear. They are problems that need solved, and they actually inhibit your ability to pursue with freedom his virtue, his sainthood for you, his goal for you, what you were meant to be, and that real happiness. So pray through these things. That's the critical thing. This understanding this hierarchy, seeing this framework, puts things into clarity. It helps categorize things and focus you in what really you need to be focused on. But you pray about it too. What is the problem you want me to tolerate? Is this problem XYZ thing something that I need to reframe? God, am I not viewing this the way you view it? Am I allowing this thing to run amok with me and I could tolerate it? I might need to let it be there for some reason, but I can manage it better. Or is this a problem and can I solve it? And then can you give me the grace to know how to do that and bring the people into my life I need? So pray through all of your problems in this. Ask him to help categorize things. And if you take all of your problems and you sit down with a journal and you put 3 categories, tolerate, reframe, solve, and you just try to put them in there, it might not be perfect. You might realize a week later, this has actually got to be here. This has got to be here. You're going to feel so much better. So that would be my ask for you, is take out a piece of paper, put 3 columns, and say, is this problem a tolerate, a reframe, or a solve? And see what happens. Let me know in the comments if you've ever tried anything like that, or if you have your own ideas of how you can help categorize and then manage your problems. We have videos about anxiety and depression, really common things when you have problems, and quick tips you can use to solve those things. I'll put them up here. There'll be a card there, and maybe one right here. With those videos, you can watch them and learn some quick tips to put in the play to manage those. And that can be part of step 2, which is tolerating. I have problems. They're causing some anxiety, maybe some depression. How do I manage the way they affect me, even though I need to let those problems sit for a little bit? As Catholics, we have the right to mental health. We have the right to support, to help us heal from mental illness, and to have freedom in mental health so we can pursue greatly what God has called us to. So remember that if you need support, please, please, please find a Catholic therapist in your area, or put some of the tips and tricks we have on our YouTube channel into play. These things are not going to solve your problems holistically. If you've got a really deep problem, you're probably going to need to work through it professionally with somebody. These videos are not professional therapy, but they may help. They may be an aid into getting you there. Or if it truly is a small enough problem that you're meant to be solving, they may be enough. But remember that you have the right to mental health, and that there's a bevy of incredible Catholic professionals who want to support you. Please like and subscribe. We're going to have a lot more content coming out about how to manage mental health and how to think about things in your life to bring clarity and ease so you can be a more effective, happier, more free human being, and you can pursue sainthood. Thanks for watching.